Oh, hello, and welcome to Aldente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. Tonight we have Something Terrible Will Happen in Morefolk. So, yeah, Icydice has released yet another Morefolk story, chronicling the strange events regarding some kind of like monster mother and a cover-up in the town of Morefolk. And so when I found out about that, I was like, push everything aside. We're doing this one. Like literally, like this came out a week ago. And I'm just like,
we're on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
We're not looking at popular stuff from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah, from like yeah. So yeah, we're doing Something Terrible Will Happen in Morefolk, and it's by Icydice. It's on creepypasta.wiki. So you can go check it out there, as along with all the other Morefolk stories by Icydice. If you are going to go read it, you should probably read the other ones first. But yeah. And before we get too far ahead, let's do our initial recommendations. I will recommend this one.
I will partially recommend this one.
I'll recommend this one.
All right. Well, let's dive in and see why we recommend this stuff, or partially recommend this. Starting with the rundown. Not featuring The Rock, because it's Jay. So Jay has returned with an apology for his previous bravado and with further details regarding the mother monster and her motives. It seems that Jay believes he is being followed by them, the higher power controlling the police and trying to cover up all this that he's been kind of paranoid about over the last while. Even blaming them for infiltrating his home, moving things around, and making him act differently than how he normally would. It's part of the his explanation for why he was like how he acted in some of the previous entries the way he has, because he's not usually that kind of person. He even resorts to moving locations to kind of throw them off. On top of that, he's been getting dreams of exiting a dark space and entering into a light space, kind of like a baby exiting a womb, before waking up. And these eventually culminate to him exiting that dark space into a hatch. And as the hatch opens up, there is the mother monster that comes out, and they meet face to face. She is not malicious to him at all, and in fact shows her dead children to him, which she removes from her body, like ripping open the stitches and like just pulling them out, or just like having them flop out into the ground, and then like picking them up tenderly and like holding them and then handing it to Jay, so that he can like kind of like cradle them, much to his disgust. But she is very motherly this entire time. It's through this communication that the mother monster reveals that, or what exactly she wants out of the man who did this to her, which Jay has apparently talked to and gotten a confession from. The man is someone in power in the town and regrets what he did and plans to come clean and then resign. Sort of what we got like last entry, where like Jay was like basically tossing out to the people, the officials and stuff like that, to like come clean with everything. So it seems like they're going to come clean very soon. But that's not enough for the mother monster. Through Jay, it seems the mother monster wants blood. And so Jay leaves off this email, heading out with a gun to potentially finish this once and for all, and leaves the reader of the email with a message that a video will be forwarded to them soon that will shed light on the whole situation. like all the information that he has that he's been kind of like dripping, and so like, there's more that he has. He's just going to like release it after the events of whatever comes next with him with the gun. Finn, for now. So yeah, I suppose we'll move on to, or with that, I suppose we'll move on to. Everyone tolerates the Grand Inquisitions. At this point, I've got 2. Their heads, their skulls, caved in and flattened to limit the space they take. Welcome to my tense talk.
Of course.
Caved in and flattened to limit the space they took up. Not take, took up. Because it flattened, caved in.
Yeah, I guess.
It's right in the sentence. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's my axe to grind. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. You're right.
Yeah. But thanks for attending my tense talk. I'll move on.
Okay.
Let's start with, and then I'll finish off with this one here. Could I really live myself if there were the case? So I think when I first read this, I think I read it wrong. It was supposed to be like, could I live myself if that were the case? But I feel like it really should have said, could I really live with myself?
Yeah.
Like add that extra that with in there, because like you like with the right connotation, it could be like, could I live myself? Because like he's talking about like, yeah. Honestly, I think that's what it needs.
Live myself, like comma out myself on the front and back of it.
Or I think actually the comma should go after the myself. So it's like, could I live myself?
Before and after.
Oh, maybe
live myself with what happened.
Yeah, that could work too. Yeah, that works better, or that works as well. Though I do think also like, could I live with myself is the better way to phrase that. So yeah,
definitely.
Okay, and that's the end of my grammar inquisitions. So, Mikey, the E stands for evil.
All right. Well, I have a conjunction junction.
All right. And next stop, conjunction junction. Doot, doot.
Or maybe you don't. It was a while ago that I started having strange dreams. It was as if they were staring into the very sun. Ugh. As if I were staring into the very sun. It was so vivid, so detailed, so lucid, and didn't resemble anything I had ever experienced before. Or a glass from my kitchen cupboard would be sitting in the sink, even though I knew for a fact that it wasn't there before. It verified my suspicions. It took so long for it to click in my deluded mind that something was going on. So I placed cameras in places I figured nobody would ever check. It has to be something more, something greater. It would smell so horrifically. It wasn't her fault that she ended up that way. It was as if she recognized me as her, well, as someone who meant her no harm and who only wished to fix the situation. It isn't her fault she's a monster. It isn't her fault she's a monster. Or me. Or the pregnant woman, as well as the children who have fallen victim to her so far. It will explain a lot, I promise. Finn.
Wow.
That's like the end. It's like, it's not her fault she's a monster. It's not her fault she's a monster. Or me. Like, I'm also a monster.
yeah, or the women with the children. So yeah, she's murdered. It's like, yeah, it kind of like sounded like just like a weird context, like paranormal activity thing, because like, oh, like he's experiencing weird things in his house, and so he puts some cameras, and there's a weird smell, like a nasty smell, and then it sounds like he might be grieving for somebody that died recently, and then she's like come back, and she's a monster, but it's not her fault that she's a monster, just like it's not his fault that he's a monster, or so like maybe he killed her. And then maybe like
a monster.
yeah, exactly. And then maybe like the mothers with the children were also monsters, so like it's not their fault that like yeah. Maybe there's like a coven of monster mothers.
There's a lot of ways it can go.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's weird how we can get different context on things when like he reads out sentences that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like it's, ands, or buts. Because there's always better words to use. And he strings them together into a sentence or a story with sometimes hilarious results.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Gamer, do you have any grammar in yellow?
Probably.
That sounded very reassuring. Definitely, maybe.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, of course I do. Yeah. Yeah, I totally do.
You're skimming through the story right now, aren't you?
No. Why?
No, ma'am. No. What? No.
So yes, I only have one left. This is in regards to the children that are in her stomach.
Mhm.
Their arms and legs had been messily removed as well, disposed of like bone removed from the chicken breast.
Oh.
First off, ew. Second off, I didn't really like how the like bone part like flowed, like disposed of like bone. Because I read it like I read it like disposed of like bone and expected a comma, but didn't get one because it's like bone removed.
Yeah.
Oh, like bone.
I see that.
Yeah. There should be like a comma there.
The way
like
that I did it is
yeah.
Disposed of like how bone is removed from a chicken breast.
I kind of see where he's going with it. Is like removed like bone, and then comma removed like from like out of a chicken. Like I kind of see where he's going, but I do like yours better.
Yeah, it kind of flows a little better.
Yeah,
like it's not wrong technically, but just
no.
I stumbled over a little bit, and because of that, I feel like there's better ways to write it. And with that, that's all I got for grammar in yellow this time.
All right. Well, I suppose we move on to actual thoughts then with that. So I got to preface this.
Okay.
So reading through this story, 2 theories formulated in my head as I read. I have organized the following notes to fall under either theory respectively for clarity. So like I'm not like jumping back and forth between the 2 theories as I read through my notes.
Okay.
So I'm going to read through like the notes that I collected over the course of the story for one theory and then the other one. And then kind of there's a note that I did after by the end that kind of like culminated to like what I eventually decided on like which theory I thought was probably more accurate to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So just for preface, like these notes are, I'm going to be basically reading through some notes that I took over the course of the story, but they're not like in chronological order. Yeah, I'm going to be jumping around a little bit. Yeah. Just to keep for like the clarity of the theories that I and such.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start with this one here. Screams that would grow louder, and the dream would end as soon as I would emerge from the darkness and into the light. These dreams were reoccurring, happening pretty much every night. It was so vivid, so detailed, so lucid, and didn't resemble anything I had ever experienced before. So at this point, I was like, okay, so it almost sounds like you're having dreams of like the fetus and stuff like that, of like coming out of coming out of the womb and such. What if Jay is the monster mother's lost child? Like the one from her wound, like the C-section, like wound in her stomach, in her chest, or in her stomach, ripped away from her at birth by somebody. And that's why he was having these dreams, or why there's this connection that the monster mother is able to like project onto him. Like some kind of like psychic connection through the dreams.
I mean, yeah.
I continue on.
Okay.
As I continue reading. We stared into each other's eyes as if we were somehow communicating. Her gaze held no ill will or malice. It was as if she recognized me as her ... Well ... as someone who meant her no harm, and who only wished to fix the situation. Almost like you were ... of her blood. Just saying, this theory's growing stronger and stronger with me as they go.
Yeah, it kind of is.
And it's almost like Jay might have an inkling himself about what's going on, but is still trying to come to grips with that situation. And then the last one I have of this part of the theory, or this theory. She described how horrible it is that the man who ruined her gets to live his life as normal, flashing smiles and being friendly with others, continuing on a respected life as she suffers in silence. Silence which, until she found me again, she had no chance of breaking. To simply weep and find children to care for as the only option afforded to her. Until she found me again. As in, they've met before. Perhaps when Jay was very young, out of the womb? So, yeah, my theory is it's just like an idea that like kept like percolating as I was reading the story. It's like, is that Jay's connection like in all this is like, because the dreams he was having happened before he started sending the emails out and such. So he was having I think it said earlier on like he started having the dreams beforehand.
All he said was, I have a note on this.
Okay.
All he said was he had dreams a while ago, but he said like I haven't had any of these dreams since my last like posting. Okay,
well, so he a while ago.
Unless
so
I
like
misinterpreted that.
Yeah, I think that it's vague enough that it could be interpreted either way, like that they were after or before the emails. But regardless, like some of the things that like are said in this one are like kind of making me think that like maybe this is supposed to be like a connection here, but
or maybe he's actually one of the police officers.
Oh shit, maybe. But then maybe
and he's a whistleblower.
Well, yeah, he clearly is. Yeah, from the get-go he's been a whistleblower. But yeah, I see what you mean. Like maybe he even works in the police office and stuff like that. Now here, so that's my theory about like that was the theory number one that was percolating was like, oh my god, is Jay the lost child of this mother monster, and like that's how he's connected and stuff and all this. Then I got this as well as I was reading through the story. You can see what they're doing, right? Messing with me, not mentioning these dreams and my erratic behavior. I think that they were leaking some sort of gas into my room as I slept, hence the open window. I swear my mind wasn't like this before. So another theory that popped up as I started reading the story, there's part of this entry that made me go, is this actually Jay sending this email? This could be some sort of like counter tactic on the side of the police, or perhaps them trying to discredit Jay in the eyes of Morefolk. I don't know exactly. Like the first few pages of this, especially like this story, especially just sort of rubbed me the wrong way. Like not like in a super bad way, just in terms of trusting the narrator. Like who before was trying to whistleblow something unexplainable that the police or a higher power was trying to cover up. But here we get a Jay who is trying to make excuses with dreams and a cover up agency that is gassing him and making him act the way he was in previous entries. And like, why are they moving cups and stuff like that in his house? Like, and like, he's talking about like like he set up cameras, but they didn't find anything. So like, how did they they must be able to doctor that kind of stuff, right? Don't get me wrong. I want to believe it could be that this is Jay, like writing this email to people, and that this did happen to him, and he's using it to expose them. But I get this sort of weird defamation campaign vibe off of like this one entry, especially like early on in the entry, like for the first couple of pages of the entry, because of his apology for previous attitudes in the entries before, and his paranoid explanation as to like what's been going on with him. Also, the fact that these emails were coming in from what I assume are different email addresses. Like, that's just good tradecraft. And I believe it was mentioned in a previous story that either Jay or the police, that they can't pinpoint who's sending these emails because they're using different email addresses. So anyone could make a message to the townsfolk of Morefolk, who, or at least like somebody who received the previous emails, like say the police or somebody who's part of that cover-up group, and sign off after writing a message that would defame or kind of discredit Jay, and sign it off as Jay, right?
Yeah.
I kind of have a tinfoil hat on with this
Jay, though. So
exactly, and that's what kind of reminded us. Like, it's like, is like, as I was reading like the first half of the story, I was like, is this actually Jay, or is this like it just came off as like not Jay?
Just because it's so vastly different to the previous ones.
Yeah, the way the writing is and stuff, and like the way he's apologizing and the way he's like talking, like, oh, they must have gassed me, and like, oh, I've been having these dreams, and it's like, well, that sounds like something like you do to you try to say to like under the pretense that you are that person, to try and discredit that person in the eyes of like the public. And so that's kind of what sparked my idea that like with theory number 2 is that like this email actually isn't Jay. Now, then we get this final quote and setup that kind of like made me sigh with one way or the other. The whispers continue further. Every day, my head grows fuzzier. I feel myself sinking back into the feeling that tore me. I feel myself sinking back into the feeling that tore apart my credibility. Things are once more swapping places inside my house during the dead of night. I won't let them fuck with me again. I have to act quickly. Whatever choice I make, it needs to be made soon. So, I know I went on a theory just a minute ago early about this not being Jay. Yes. But I did keep reading to see if, as I was reading the story, I kept reading to see if there's more evidence that would arrive one way or the other. And by the time I got to the end of the story, I wrapped back around to my belief that this is in fact Jay and not like somebody trying to discredit him. Though I think he may be confusing who is tampering with his home and causing his mania. Unless, of course, I'm wrong and there is a them, after all, covering things up outside of like the police force. I think the strange occurrences around Jay's home are the mother monster and her paranormal activity. Like, as a result of his dream communication with her, maybe it's the captured souls of the children that she keeps around that are like moving things around his house and stuff like that. And the cameras may not pick up that kind of stuff because, well, as popular culture found footage films have shown me, that paranormal activity likes to fuck around and make make cameras act weird when the supernatural is around. And
I thought cameras are often an unbiased source, though.
They're supposed to. That's part of the horror of them is when they're used in like found footage and stuff, is because they're supposed to be an unbiased observer, but they can be fuckled with in various ways, like through electromagnetic fields and like even through like paranormal activity and stuff like that. They do in a lot of the found footage films and stuff like that. Anyways, the paranormal like fucks around with the cameras and like doesn't show the things that the person is expecting them to show and such.
What I don't get about the whole camera situation is stuff moved, so he put up cameras. Yeah. And then stuff moved anyways, and he didn't see it happen on the cameras.
Yeah, which is what
saw something move. Let's say a mug moved in the kitchen. He knows that move from last night. He knows where he put it last night. Couldn't he start watching the video at the start of it and see it where it is and just sit there on like 5 times speed or whatever and just watch that cup until it moves?
Oh, absolutely. The thing is, like you're absolutely right. Like that's probably how he's like basically tracking through following the tracker and just seeing like if anything moves in like on the camera, or like finding where the camera did move and then like backtracking to like where that happened, because like that's the thing where he brought up where like they can doctor the footage. So like either there's another organization coming into his house at night, but why are they moving the fucking like cups and stuff and then like doctoring the footage? Like I can imagine like doctoring the footage to cover them up, but like why would they move stuff around his house?
They were doing stuff in there, and then Bob wanted a coffee, so they made him a coffee.
Yeah, I get. Yeah,
like shit, we didn't put it right back in the right spot. Let's just loop that and just put that over the entire recording.
Yeah, I see. Like that's the thing. Like I can see it both ways. Like yes, it could either be like somebody coming in and like doctoring the footage to make it so that, and like for some reason like having a cup of coffee or maybe just bumping something and then having to put it back in a place that they thought, but it's not the actual place, or it is something supernatural and it's just because supernatural like magic it doesn't pop up on the camera because the camera gets fuckled with when the thing is nearby. But
there's a simple explanation.
Okay.
Is that he's lost sense of time. So like in the first section he takes pictures of where everything is.
Yeah.
But when he goes back to the pictures, it could be that a couple days have passed. And
okay.
Then when it comes to the video recording, he has the recordings, but nothing moves in the night because he's moves them during the day and forgets that he's moved them.
I guess, yeah, I could go that route. And that could also even that like that could be mundane reason, but that could also be extrapolated to like his behavior changing because of as a result of either the influence of the other group or the influence of the supernatural. So it does, that could also just be like explained that like any of those ways.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean he doesn't explain that he pays attention to his own movements because it must be supernatural, right? So if he recorded himself moving it, but he didn't pay attention to that because I wouldn't have moved it, type thing.
Yeah, I think it would have been like it was weird when like I was expecting when he put the camera that he was actually sleepwalking and like moving things for some reason, or like something
for a way in to say that.
I'm sorry. You guys know me. I'm a loudmouth. Yeah. But yeah, so that was that part of just of like the like things acting weird around the camera and stuff. And I know this whole thing like kind of circumvents the theory I had earlier and about like them. Honestly, I actually had to go back and reread the beginning of the story because it felt like it might almost be unnecessary or convoluted to have this new extra plot of a cover up and defamation and like having him like be on there. It just seemed like kind of like, do we really need this at this junction in the narrative? But honestly, it also kind of works if this is like if this thing is actually happening to him, like to throw off the reader as like a red herring until we get more answers next time, hopefully, leaving us to speculate what's really going on with Jay at his home. Like, is it supernatural? Is it mundane? Like, and he's just paranoid because of like what he's been like whistleblowing. Is there another actual like group out there that's like following him and stalking him, and if so, why haven't they he gives an explanation as to why they haven't killed him yet, because they don't want a martyr. But and like it does kind of make sense that like why they would, their motives of why they would try and defame him or like try and like discredit him in the eyes of the townsfolk, because they want him to be discredited and so people won't believe him. It's like the boy who cried wolf kind of thing. But yeah, it was just like these two theories mingled with me and percolated with me over the course as I was reading the story, and I just felt I had to give them their due. So I hope they came across and in my ramblings.
I'd say so.
All right, I'll move on to my next thing. So we get this. Speaking of like the creature like communicating with Jay through the dreams, and then we get like a longer form of the dream. So ultimately, I did reach the entrance to the hatch, and I pulled on the lever, opening the wall up to an abyss before me. This time, when I woke up, it didn't go away. The open hatch remained there, beckoning me. I tried to step foot inside, but I couldn't. No, not in time. Not in time anyway. Before she emerged from it instead. And then after the experience he has in this sequence with the mother monster, we get this. To recapture that sense of fulfillment that was taken from her. It isn't her fault she's a monster. She didn't mean to be one. Despite how real it all seemed, I expected to wake up at any minute. That moment never did arrive. She remained coddling and feeding the children at all hours of the day. I don't understand why she's still here. Not because I'm still under the illusion that she's purely in my mind. In the sense that I don't get what's keeping her here in this plane of life. She's gotten the children she craved. The only other connection must be ... Jesus Christ. So first I was like, she clearly needs to find Jesus.
Yeah, to the church.
To the church. Yeah. So was this encounter actually a dream? Or did he have the initial dream of him like coming out like going out like being in the dark space and then exiting into the light? And then sleep and then like while that dream was going on, he sleepwalked out into the woods to her lair, to the hatch, and then met her there in physical space. Or was this a psychic link, a sort of dream where he's receiving communications from her, as later stated, with her whispering to him now and such? Sort of like the bond Rey and Ben Solo have in the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, like where they have this like weird psychic link to each other, where they can see the other person, like where the other person is, like they can see their environment around them and such, and they can even like physically act like tinker with it. And it also happens like when they're like moving around their house and like they still have these visions around their surroundings. They can interact with their surroundings, but they can also see and almost interact with the surroundings of the person that they're psychically linked to.
Yeah, I can see that.
So like, I was left a little confused by this. Like, I liked this encounter because it gave us a lot of detail about the motives of this creature to a degree. I just was confused because I like the idea that he sleptwalked out to meet the monster physically. But I would like if that's the case, if it's not like a psychic dream and he actually like woke up and he was actually at the hatch and then that's where he encountered the monster, I kind of want a sentence or two of him leaving and returning home, if that were the case, like just so we have better clarity of like whether or not this is a dream or if this was actually an actual encounter he had where he was in meat space with the creature. Or again, explain it.
Rather clarification. You don't like?
I'd honestly, in this case, I was just like, it was one of those mysteries where it's like, wait, so is he still in the dream? Did this actually happen? Is there like a psychic bond? I don't know what the answer is, and like it kind of was annoying me in this case. Like, so I kind of could have used a like clarification to either which way or the other. Like, if this is still like that whole thing was that whole encounter was a dream, and but we do kind of need a sentence or so for him to exit that dream. Otherwise, the rest of the story has been a dream, but he's emailing people this. So is he like sleep writing or sleep typing and then sending?
Maybe everything's a dream.
Yeah, and exactly. He's and it turned out Jay's been in a coma for months.
Yeah,
like everybody, all the characters in these emails are just like people around him's like, wake up, Jay, wake up. Yeah. Yeah, I just need a little bit of, like a sentence or two of clarification as to whether or not this was like an encounter in real space that he with the creature, or if he's just having visions of her in his house of this encounter. Because like he's clearly is like after this, after the fact, because like he's hearing her whisper to him like every night, like her and the children are in his bed every night, like as a dream emanation or something, whispering to him. So yeah.
Well, I'll say at least to Jay, it's real. The problem is we don't have any outside points.
Yeah, we don't have any,
as far
like,
as Jay is concerned, it's real. Whether it is literally real or not, we wouldn't know because Jay doesn't know, and that's the only info we have. So if Jay can't possibly know if it's real or not, then we wouldn't know either.
Yeah, but I just like something that's like we do need. I feel like we do need a sentence like he woke up, because we never get that sentence. It says like literally says like that moment never, like I expected to wake up any moment, any minute. That moment never did arrive. I'm still sleeping.
Or just like his dream just became reality, basically.
Maybe that's the case. But then like how are we getting these? Because these are supposed to be email entries sent out to like the Morefolk people / us the reader. So it's like. Yeah, I
mean, like his dream blended into reality. Like he did actually wake up, but through supernatural or whatever the fuck means, like
that's
his
true.
Dream became real.
And it does say actually, like in that same paragraph that I just quoted, it's like not because I'm still under the illusion that she's purely in my mind. So like like he definitely has some kind of psychic link with her, or some kind of like connection with her, like mentally. So like maybe that is like just the subtle cue that like no, she's always with him now, even like after this dream, and we're just expected to assume that he woke up and is dealing with this, or like again, like you said, the dream blended into his reality.
That might be it.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird. I'm for some reason the one today that wants some clarity on like if it's which way or the other.
You've changed, man.
I blame Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of my actual thoughts. So, Mikey, D stands for evil.
All right. So, my first actual thought of the quote here. I have no doubt that many of you have stopped reading by now, or are at the cusp of doing so. So, when I read this story, and I got to this part, I stopped reading, and then came back to it 2 days later.
Wow.
You know what? So did I.
Really?
Like I read this like a couple of days ago. Like I started reading this a couple of days ago, and then I stopped and came back to it the next day.
Wow, how dare you guys?
I feel like it is sort of you know what, this is sort of a common trope in like creepypastas, of like, especially of like ones where it's like it's supposed to be like forwarded to somebody who like is like, it's like a letter to somebody or a notification to somebody. It's like I know you probably stopped reading at this point. I assure you shouldn't. It's like I don't know if I like I don't know if I could take it or leave that trope in creepypastas.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense here because he's a tinfoil hat man, conspiracy theorist. So like people would have been like, "Oh, Jay again."
I know, but it does like it has the effect of what Mikey just did, and what I kind of inadvertently did as well, where like I just stopped at this. Oh, this is a good stopping point. All right.
It's like what I did with like a very recent episode where it's like, if the character doesn't care, why should I? That kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, if the people of the town aren't listening to him, why should I?
Oh yeah. Like you got so immersed that you're just like, I was like, you basically were like inside the character's skin.
Yeah.
And feeling their emotion, they're feeling their lethargy and apathy.
Right. So my next actual thought. Then and only then would I awake. Awake to find small, finger-like indents on my shoulder. I like this visual. And it reminds me of like when you wake up from a dream where something happens, like something grabs a hold of you. You go to that section that you're grabbed or whatever, and you go, "Oh, okay, everything's fine." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in this
But-
case, it's like, and then when you do find something like there, it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No.
yeah, I like that portion of this. And then I like that we get the monster again.
Mhm.
Because the monster was absent in part 2.
Yeah.
But the problem I have is that, for me anyway, the monster has become all in Jay's head.
I mean,
It's entirely
could-
possible.
you could take it that way. Also, but then he's about to go with a gun into a police, into either the police station or city hall,
Yeah.
to gank a person. So like, yeah,
He's gone nuts at this point.
So yeah, so like, again, this is either like the killer is Jay. Oh god, what if the killer has been Jay this whole time?
Been the killer the whole time.
Either he was the killer the whole time, or there's like this weird, like, explainably like weird like mania that has affected men in this town, where they kill their wives and like cut out the baby and stuff like that.
They all had to like have meetings to figure out how to do it so
Or
they
like,
do it the same.
what if it's not even like that? What if it's just, again, like it's sort of like that the dancing plague in Europe, like years,
Yeah.
like where like it was like a mania. It's not explained. We still don't know exactly what caused her into that, but it was like, one of the things is that it was like sort of a weird like freak mass hallucination kind of like mania, or a mass mania kind of thing. And so like,
no, I've seen puppet history.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's how I learn everything about history.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the professor's just such a great teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so like you get the one like person who suffers from that mania, which was like the first killer, or the first kill, basically, or the death that pops up in the news, and then that's how the mania spreads, almost like an idea or like a mimetic thing.
Yeah, because people have that in their head that happened.
Yeah, and like a realistic mimetic thing, like again, like the dancing plague stuff, like where, because like again, even like not even the dancing plague, like I have seen like other encounters with like mass hysteria where like one person acts really weird and like and very odd or something like that, like just hysterical, and then like another person, or like one person feigns some kind of an illness, and then suddenly it starts catching, and there's no actual illness that the doctors could ever realize. It's something in their head.
Effect.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a weird like placebo effect to the nth degree.
Yeah.
But yeah,
our brains are weird.
Yeah,
Ours specifically, but also just humans in general.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, Mikey, that is actually a pretty cool like third option, I suppose, outside of like
Mhm.
supernatural or government or just mundane,
Safety
like
belief.
hysterical mundanity
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
murderous mundanity, I guess. Yeah.
So that's into my actual thoughts.
Okay.
And murderous mundanity sounds like a band.
Yeah. Also, because you like were kind of your like what is the word? It's not awarding the story. You were commending the story earlier for like the detail that was given,
Mhm.
or the description that was given. I also had, I similarly, I didn't bring it up, but like I wish I had earlier in my notes. The when he meets the mother monster, and like just that interaction, and like that, like the gory, even the gross details and stuff of that, like that was really really cool. Weird, as morbid as that is, because like again, from like a horror story angle, like that, and it was tasteful. Like it also wasn't like too bad. Like the baby, how the baby fetuses were like came out of like plopped out of the wound like chewed up food, and that's actually a pretty fitting description for what they actually looked like.
Yeah.
Like I liked that. Like as gross and gibbety as that was, like that was really good.
They turned into what babies eat.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to throw in that little my own like kind of commendation, I suppose, to the story for like the gory details, but like it was good gory details. Yeah. So Gamer, you're up.
That I am. So this is pretty early on. He says, you don't need to... Okay. You don't need to have what occurred explained to you, you know. Or maybe you don't. Yeah, hang on a second.
Wait, what?
Did I just... This not copyright?
You don't need to have what occurred explained to you, you know. Or maybe you don't. Like, as in, maybe you don't know.
You don't need to have what occurred explained to you, you know. Or maybe you don't. What?
So I understand. So what he's trying to say there is like, or maybe you don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like you don't need to have what occurred explained to you, you know. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you do know is what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I feel like this is grammar because I mean that what last sentence should be part of the previous paragraph.
It's dramatics.
Thank you. Why are you me?
I don't know why you me.
I don't know. Did we go into like into a teleporter and like get flied?
I don't know. I mean, we've recently started a recording in Meat Space, and we had like a connection between us.
Oh God!
Our brains may have swapped.
Oh yeah, we did have that. Yeah, we did share an earbud so we could hear the gameplay.
Yeah. So maybe that happened.
Maybe that's what happened.
Sit unnecessarily close to each other.
Yep.
It was like a ritual to get that done.
Yep. The jank, the ritual of jank.
But regardless,
yes.
Knowing would require that you believe me. Many of you don't. I understand why. I'm sorry. So I think this is the first time that we get some clarification about what the town as a whole thinks of Jay's messages.
Yeah. Like we kind of get through the police. Sorry.
Yeah, but the police are going to be anti-Jay regardless, but just people in general.
Yeah.
Because if this is the case and most people don't believe him, are they all just deleting his messages and his emails and stuff like that as soon as he gets them?
Yeah.
As soon as he sends them? And if that's the case, his apology isn't getting to any of the people who actually deserve it.
Yeah. Again, it's the boy who cried wolf kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like at this point, I suppose he's just warning like a small section of his believers. Yeah. And a handful of people that read it for the entertainment of it, but don't actually believe him.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly probably what's been going on in the town. Like, I'm sure like people in the town are freaked out and scared because like, not only have the women who were pregnant start dying, but now like there's a slew of children, like of children under 6 that have just gone missing. So like I'm sure like the town is sort of in a weird state right now, and then they're getting these mass emails from this supposed whistleblower who's just dripping in for like just like what's the word? Like choosing to just drip feed the information to them via these various emails and like talking about weird like about a cover up and some weird monster thing. So like this like what you're saying sounds very likely what the scenario is for the townsfolk is like there's probably a group that believes him, a group that like has just been deleting the emails, and then like and then groups that are maybe reading them just for like the entertainment to try and like because they get like a weird morbid kick out of it. So,
yeah, pretty much. But I'll move on from there.
Yep.
Morefolk, I have really fucked things up. I don't know how I've sounded in these last few entries, like a crazed lunatic, desperate to be heard, drip feeding information that you had a right to be deserved all at once. So, not to be vain or anything, but is this addressed to me? Because like I've been basically calling him out on this specifically, him being Jay.
Yeah. Well,
like, I'm pretty sure I straight up said drip feeding as well, because that's what he's been doing. It's been just
yeah. for some transparency, we have had contact with Icydice. Like we have gotten some emails from Icydice who's been listening to our episodes of these. So perhaps like I mean I don't want to presume like because like that sounds like I don't want to sound like we're like I don't want to sound
Of
like
course not.
like like that we're like influencing or anything like that. But it just seems like you're not alone, gamer. When I read this was like, is Icydice trying to backpedal and apologize to us?
And if so, like whether he is or isn't, the change of tone I think is brilliant.
Yeah,
it explains everything really, 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 really well.
Yeah, but at the same time, also could be a red herring as to what's going on.
Could be.
Like I said in my kind of like my merged theory idea, where Jay thinks that like somebody is like covering up and like trying to create this mania on him and like moving things in his house. But like, what if he's actually like confusing who's actually doing that? Like maybe it's not them, maybe it's her, or something like that.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah, maybe it's Maybelline. Of course, that evil corporation.
Yes. Yes, I'll move on from there.
Okay.
And then next one, just in regards to his dream about like the hands and like that pulls him out and like slice something off his stomach that's attached to it and all that. So like as soon as I read that, I'm like, that's just a dream of his own birth, is what I imagined, and that's kind of what connected in with one of your theories as well.
Yep. Like reading that, it was like, this is just he's being born, and it's like, wait, what if this is actually his memory, not just like a weird like a dream created from the mother like to him, a stranger. What if this is like a recollection of how he of his connection with the mother monster? Like because we don't know what happened to the baby of the mother monster. We know that she lost it.
We don't know what happened to Jay's mother.
Exactly.
Did she die in childbirth?
That's my question, and like that's where that theory's been like percolating. It's like, wait, is this why Jay's been doing this whistleblowing? Like because of these connections that he's having, and because he actually finds out that he is actually the child of the mother monster?
Yeah, because he wouldn't necessarily know what his mother even looks like unless he has like pictures that his father gave him or something.
And when she confronts him, now mind you, like I think when the drunkard met her and stuff like that, she was also not like evil to him or anything like that. She was very motherly. But in this one, it really like it seems like Jay's starting to ask those questions as well. It's like, why was she like so like motherly and like she like trusting to me and like she knew me, almost like she knew me, and it's like a mother knows their child.
Yeah.
Or like
I'm getting on your bandwagon, honestly.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm excited for like I really hope that like turns out to be right, because like this isn't a buddy horror, but it's like
it might as well be.
It's kind of like a subgenre of buddy horror where like the narrator.
It's a buddy body horror, honestly.
Yeah, it's a buddy body horror, yeah. But it's a buddy body horror with the subgenre of parent to child. Like parent is the monster, child is the human.
Yeah.
Or I guess actually,
just be your parents. They should also be your buddy, and also your guy and your friend.
Yeah. Also, actually, I guess the subgenre would be called like the mother monster's love, where like your mother is a monster or has been turned into a monster, but she still has like feelings and cares for you, sort of thing. Yeah, that's the subgenre. Yeah. God, I might actually, like legitimately, I might try this year. Like my New Year's resolution this year might be write some buddy horrors and post them on creepypasta.wiki.
Yeah, and tag them as buddy horrors.
Yeah, exactly.
Try to get it going.
Yeah, try to get that new hot creepypasta subgenre out there. We got the angsty teen killers, we got the faceless stalkers in the woods, we got the demon possessions, the cryptids, the analog horror. I want buddy horror as a genre category.
Yeah, I mean,
We got
it is in a way
Pokepastas.
because like
Yeah.
monsters and other childish things and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but that's tabletop RPG stuff.
I know, but
yeah.
that is in itself buddy horror.
And technically, like even like in terms of tabletop RPGs, I'm sorry, I'm pulling us away from the story for a second.
It's fine.
In D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons, in the monster manual, there is a creature called a Grey Render, which is like this giant Hulk-like monster with like multiple eyes, gnashing teeth, giant rending claws, and it usually forms an emotional bond with a small child.
Of course it is.
So like that's usually like that in the description, like it's this horrible thing that will rip like adults and like adventurers apart, but it is protective of this one child or this one very cute like a puppy or something like that, or like a deer.
It likes cute things.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that's kind of like a buddy horror in like early tabletop RPG stuff. But and then Monster of the Childish Things, obviously there's a bunch of stuff like out there for that kind of stuff. Hell, even Delta Green had a scenario that was like horror and like creepy and fucky, but like or fucked up, but was kind of also buddy horror called Sweetness. But anyway, back to the story.
Right. We're doing
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
Yeah. so you're hopping on that my theory bandwagon of like the child, or Jay is the child of the mother monster.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that points to
it, especially in this one, and like it kind
Even
of like
if he isn't.
Yeah,
it could just be that the mother monster's like
imprinted,
basically somehow found out that he's a believer and isn't necessarily trying to hurt her, so is able to just like psychically connect to him.
Well, because especially with her power of like being able to like, again, psychically, like you said, just psychically connect with him. So like maybe she's through that psychic connection, she's realized that he has been whistleblowing all this stuff for some reason. That's the other thing. Like this theory also gives an explanation as to why Jay is doing this, other than like why is he so vehement? Well, it gives like a more of a purpose as to why he's been so vehement about exposing this, like, and stuff like that. Like it gives him
do my next note.
All right, I'll say
this.
All right, cool.
Because my next one's about the timeline.
Okay.
So 2 things are said. He says, it was a while ago that I started having strange dreams. Then after that it says, I have no record of behavior like what I displayed in prior messages to you all. So he's saying like before he wasn't acting weird until
before the emails. Yeah, and before the emails.
Hang on. I may have been thinking about this backwards, actually. Yeah, because it says, I swear my mind wasn't like this before. I have no record of behavior like what I displayed in prior messages to you all. So, like, before finding out about the monster, he wasn't as, like, aggressive with his theatrics and pushing everyone to believe him and stuff. So yeah, maybe a while ago is actually
before the emails,
before everything. It could be, yeah.
That's what I read into it.
Yeah, I read it wrong, honestly.
Oh,
now I hate this. He's fine.
Hate this or hate yourself?
Yeah. I'll move on.
Okay.
So regarding someone messing with him to cause dreams and items moving his house and stuff, he says, there's got to be something. This is him rationalizing what's happening.
Yeah.
There's got to be something external. And this kind of thing isn't likely to... Sorry. And this kind of thing isn't likely the doing of the Morefolk police. It has to be some more folk. Wait, the townspeople are out to get me.
Oh God, it's the village all over again now.
Yeah. Actually, no. The actual quote is, "It has to be something more, something great." But man, more folk, more people don't believe him.
Yeah,
more people fucking with him. It's possible. You never know.
Yeah, there's more folk that don't believe him. More folk that are deleting the emails. More folk that do believe him. There's more folk that are fucking with him.
And then Morefolk kicks him out of Morefolk.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll move on. Then regarding Jay having nightmares about the Womb Ripper, which is what I've still been calling her.
Mhm. Yeah.
Just like in previous entries, when the drunk cop thought he stumbled into the creature's lair, he was being hassled by Jay's claims at that point, as all the police officers were. So the idea of the creature was on his mind to begin with. And like same with here. This is basically my bit about it could be all in his head, because Jay has been paranoid about this creature more than anyone else. So I'm surprised he hasn't had nightmares sooner about all this, honestly.
But apparently he has, because the dreams have been happening prior to the emails.
Well, they've been getting worse. I don't know if it's prior to the emails. I think it's during all the email shit.
I think it was during, but also
frame on when he started doing this and now.
I think he was getting dreams before he started doing the emails, and then like they've gotten worse as he's been, or they've sort of been like getting, like they've been constant and even getting worse as he's been going with these emails and these entries and such.
And I kind of wish there was a little more clarification on that.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I think that's actually the root of this, of that beginning part. I think like that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go, why I had to read back, like read the first couple of pages again to kind of get better clarity. So like, I think, yeah, there should be like maybe it should be explained a little bit clearer that like, or maybe we're just dumb and like it's there, but it should be like read a little bit clearer that like he was having the dreams before, like when the murders first started happening, before he posted his first email and stuff like that. Like something should be make that more clear.
Yeah, it could be like, I've been having these dreams for a long time, and this is what caused me to start spreading these emails to begin with.
Yeah.
Like then that would be like, okay, killings happened. It's somehow connected to him. And then that's how he's learning about it through the dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though the dreams don't really tell him much about it until like later on when you can actually see it.
Yeah, or the dreams were basically preparing him like psychically, maybe for communication.
Yeah, and then
that's how
gets out into the paper and all that. Yeah.
I mean, generally that is also how possession works. Like demonic possession is they fuck with you, and it starts small, and it gets more and more like dramatic, according to like reports and stuff of demonic possession, and then like eventually like it's all kind of a thing to kind of either make your mind malleable to the persuasion of the demon, or like break your will effectively, depending on like how voracious or how intrusive the possessor is.
Pretty much. But all in all, when I was reading through this first time, I was basically a firm believer that Jay's just kind of lost it, and his paranoia is just taken over, and because like he knows the truth, and there's so many that aren't listening to him.
Yeah, like he's a conspiracy theorist,
pretty much,
or like a whistleblowing conspiracy theorist.
And he's like, but like all the stuff with like with the Womb Ripper talking to him and saying like, this guy did it, go get him. You know?
Especially since like she started whispering to him like at every night since like that dream, and at this point, like by the end of the story, she's no longer whispering to me at night. She's screaming in my ear, like, "Do it, just do it, make my dreams come true, do it."
Yeah, I think he needs some psychiatric help. Honestly,
yeah, but unfortunately, he's going a different route.
Yeah, he takes a gun and leaves the house.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. The end of the story. Are you sorry? Actually, I'll stop until we get to the end. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. But moving on, I get to this part, which you've like kind of talked about, but not really. No words can describe how my mind raced upon viewing her in the dream. I'm assuming. I hated seeing her that way. How she hosted such a monstrous appearance. It wasn't her fault that she ended up that way. As soon as I read that, I'm like, how do you know it wasn't her fault? Wait.
Right?
You knew who the creature was the whole time? That's what I immediately assumed. That
and like
the face of her, he knows this woman. Like before,
because she's seen a photograph of his mom. But like, and I don't know if you're taking it like a bad way, but like I'm taking it kind of as a good way because like again, like Jay, we're kind of following Jay like on this journey of him realizing like this is where the point where he's realized he does recognize and know the monster. And it's not, she wasn't always a monster. She was a mom.
But like, it doesn't even go there though. It doesn't even need to straight up say like, "Oh, it's my mom." But like, it doesn't say anything. It hints.
It hints because he's still coming to grips with it. Because like, especially when like there's the line I think later on when he's like eye to eye with her and like and communicating with her. I'm trying to find it right now, like desperately. Where was it? I think it was actually I think I quoted it earlier. Her gaze held no ill will or malice. It was as if she recognized me as her ... Well ... as someone who meant her no harm and who only wished to fix the situation.
I assume so, husband at that point.
See, you thought husband. I thought child. I thought I was in full blown like Jay is the child. Jay is the lost child theory.
Well, you picked up on that sooner, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah.
Or it's like sorry, it just a quick. It's like so you like on your husband ideas. It's like it's just like Martha. Why did you say that name? Because like Martha is. Although in the context of that quote, that is like the mom, not the wife. My bad. Apparently, that the mother idea is stuck in my head.
Understandable. It's been the only thing you've been believing the whole time.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to go in with this like trying to like, all right, let's keep reading through and see what happens. It's like nope. All these different like lines and quotes kept like bringing me to like the mother option.
Yeah, as I'm reading through a lot of my notes, a lot of them are hinging on me believing that the nightmares have happened after he started posting these.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but it's fine. Because like it's still not clearly said one way or another, but based on our conversation so far, it's probably before all this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he's been wanting to uncover the truth to begin with, because he's been having nightmares.
Yeah.
I don't know. Although, like, early on, by the first, like, message he sent it, the first email, it's probably just, like, the initial part of the nightmare still of, like, him being birthed, but, like, it doesn't go on to, like, him seeing it or anything. So I don't know if that alone would be pushing him to do this.
No, but he was
never did get clarification as to why. Aside from I want to be like I'm exposing the truth because we deserve to know.
Yeah, like that was the motive
vibe from the first one.
Yeah, and but then in this one he does kind of apologize for his bravado from like the earlier emails. So like I think it was like maybe like I don't know like maybe that was when he was being affected. Like the dreams were starting out small, but it was still affecting his mind or making him more like confident in releasing this information or drip feeding this information and such.
Yeah.
Like we're still changing him. Like he was entering a kind of a weird mental state whenever he'd do these post these emails.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think that the person who killed the Woomerper is? Chief of police or the mayor or something?
So I remember in the previous ones there was a detective. There was the chief of police? That was the guy I was like saying Mr. McMackey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was the there was also
friend was the drunkard, right?
Was it Detective Mack? No, Mackey wasn't the detective. Was he?
Load up my old.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm also going like through
I could just hit back on the actual story and go back to the previous one and just.
Okay, so there's Sheriff Mackey. That's the guy that's the person who's talking. There's Detective Clark Casper.
Oh, okay.
So there is no mayor, and we get. But we get Sheriff Mackey, Detective Clark Casper, and then there's his buddy, the drunkard buddy. I feel like I don't think it's Pretty, which is the drunkard. I think it's either going to be. I think it has to be either Sheriff Mackey or Detective Casper, and I'm kind of going. I'm honestly, I don't think it's Detective Casper, although I think
like stepped down from his position and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm thinking
thing.
I'm thinking it's Sheriff Mackey, because like Sheriff Mackey is like has been acting kind of weird and off, like in his speech early, like in the Morefolk broadcast incident.
Yeah.
So I think that's
him.
honestly
They're
him.
Going to be introducing a new character.
Or they're going to be introducing
entirely
a character that we did not like, that we completely forgot. Like it might be one of like watch it's like one of the husbands, but like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think the person who did something bad to Martha or Mother Monster, is gonna be Sheriff Mackey.
Does the monster have a name?
No, the monster has no name so far. It's just been like that's why I've been
3 so far.
Yeah, we've given.
Martha,
I was.
Monster,
Well, there's Martha, and then earlier I was referring it to as the mother of Mylings, because I was like kind of like I liked this idea of like her being like a progenitor of Mylings, which is like a weird. It's like an infantile spirit monster from Scandinavian folklore.
I know that.
Yeah, because of the Vossen stuff. Because it's been year of the Vossen. But honestly, like I've kind of switched back to just calling her like the mother monster. Yeah. It would also be funny if like it turns out like her name was actually Martha, like because it's like Martha, mother, kind of got like similarities in the name. Like it's like the name.
Just call her the Momster.
The Momster. God damn it! I'm out. Goodbye.
We have a running name for her now. Great.
Momster. The problem is like when I say Momster, I keep wanting to add a B, so it's like Mobster. It's like, hey.
She can have a Thompson. It's fine.
You gotta get with the goods, Jay. You gotta kill them. You gotta kill them coppas. Gotta kill that Mackie fella. Ragamuffins. Right. Look at all my ragamuffin children.
I feel like we're putting a silly vibe on this.
No, we have now gone critically silly. Yeah, we have hit critical mass of silliness. All right, let's settle down. I say to myself. Yeah.
Yeah, my last one is basically just in regards to him living with the creature.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of talked about whether it's real or not, how it could be real or not. But one thing we didn't talk about is the creature talks now.
Yeah. Well, it's talking,
and
but
from the past,
I know.
Previous entries, I've hated when monsters talk.
Do you hate it now?
No.
Okay.
Because here's the thing: she was a human at one point. Mm-hmm. So she knows or knew English. And has the physical ability for speech because she was a human. So it's akin to basically talking to a ghost or a revenant or something, because that's basically what she is. She's a revenant.
I think also that might be why you didn't hate it with the bog monster, because the bog monster has a human component within it, i.e. the skull.
Plus, it was a body horror, so
it was a body horror, so it was fine. Honestly, like I think I think if an eldritch horror is going to talk to you, it has to be described as not actually talking to you, but you understand sort of actually how. So in the game, video game Control, because I've been playing Control in preparation for Alan Wake 2. This is my connective tissue time, I guess. The Bureau is this eldritch cosmic entity or entities that talks to Jesse Faden. They are only represented in the store in the game as this black inverted pyramid in a white void astral plane space. That and they talk in this like almost like a weird distorted like reverse dialogue, but it's been reversed and reversed and like over and over again, so you can't understand what they're saying, and you get subtitles. And Jesse even explains in her inner monologue. It's like, that was such a weird thing. I couldn't understand what they were saying. I couldn't they were talking. They were saying something in a weird in some weird. Like they were somehow communicating with me. I couldn't physically understand what they were saying, but I understood what they were saying in my mind.
Yeah.
And like the creatures, like some of the eldritch things, the cosmic horror things in Control have this weird like throaty inverse, like reverse speech sort of dialect that they communicate to you, and we always get subtitles that gives you like Jesse / director / savior, welcome to the bureau / foundation / collective. Like they always whenever they're talking, all the noun of every sentence ends up getting us like a couple of slashes of interpretation of what they actually mean. It's like, you have picked up the gun / key / Excalibur. You are now the director / agent / Messiah kind of thing, like that kind of like weird talk.
Because like
in the
you're
subtitle.
not getting the actual words, you're just getting like
yeah, because they don't fully grasp human language, but they are translating as best they can. So they're adding like little extra bits and so, or that's how your brain is interpreting what they're saying.
What they're trying to say, not the actual what they're calling everything.
Yeah, and like the subtitles, I don't even think like they're actually supposed to be subtitles that you're. But it's like what Jesse. It could almost be the subtitles are representative of what Jesse, in her mind, is interpreting what they're meaning. So like when they call her like director / Faden / Messiah, like that's what it sounded like. They said my name or my title or like what something else. Like it always kind of gives you that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're dealing, I think that's the key to like for having an eldritch entity like talk, and like you don't explain how they're talking, like through like a translator of some kind. You have it be like this weird like not talking communication to you.
Yeah, make it sound like the intro to Ghoul Grumps.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Basically, just reverse. Again, it's reverse. It's like reverse speech.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we've cracked the code for that.
Pretty much, yeah. But that is my last.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
It only took 3 pastas. Man, I'm full.
Fine, they're all delicious except
Yes.
for that one.
Hey, you liked that one.
Yeah, I know. I've liked all of them to certain degrees.
Yeah.
But
back to the story and back to your notes.
No, actually, it's back to Mikey's notes. Or no, Mikey's notes because I'm.
Yeah. So it's.
I'm awake. Shut up.
It's back to so now that you're done with so we're done with actual thoughts.
You want to say more about the ending?
Yeah. Okay. So
because I don't have a note on the ending specifically.
Okay. Yeah. So the ending, I actually left. I did originally take this out of my notes last night when I was gathering my stuff together, but I think I'm going to bring it back up. It's like this could end up this felt. Because of the way, like, obviously, like it's clearly written at the end. Like he's going off to like do a dark deed with a gun. Like he's going to kill somebody.
Murder somebody.
And whether or not he survives that encounter or not, he has a back, like basically at a certain point, a certain time, everyone's going to get a video forwarded to them that explains everything.
Yes.
To me, like when I was reading this, like by the time I got to the end of it, it threw me back to when I would watch Slender vlogs, some of the like the big Slender vlogs, and like you'd get to like the second to last episode, like entry, where like the characters are like they're done with this bullshit. They've gathered everything they can possibly find about this thing. They're going to go confront either the Slender Man or the proxies, or like in the case of like Marble Hornets, like they're packing up, like you can kind of get a sense of the next entry will be the final entry or be the conclusion. And that's kind of what I felt from this one. Whether or not, and that's just a feeling I have, like the next one will actually be the ending. Whether or not that strikes true, we'll have to see. But like that's kind of what the vibe I got from by the end of this story was, like the next one will give us a conclusion one way or the other. Yeah,
because like if he dies, he dies.
Then we get that, and then we get that, and then we'll get this like a transcript of the video that he said they posted.
Yeah.
And hopefully we do like find out like the fate of. I do hope we do actually find the fate of Jay. Like maybe we even get a reveal as who he was in the town.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I said he was the chief of police.
Oh my god! How cool would it be if we just get a classified document from like a government agency? No. Like it's like an SCP Foundation style document from like them. From an organization that Icydice has created.
Yeah, but why would they post that on the internet?
Well, no, it's just like maybe it's been like found or something, or like maybe now we're like reading it from like maybe this is now an email, and it's an email forward to like agents in that organization, and like this is like it's like
it somehow.
Yeah, or it didn't even get leaked. Just like in terms of the narrative, like that's what we're like. We're no longer,
because this whole thing's supposed to be immersive.
I guess, yeah. I guess there would need to be some kind of way for that to happen, but it would just be so funny if like that. It's like no, that turns out there was actually like a secret organization covering up supernatural bullshit. here's this document.
Yeah, the Supernatural Task Force.
Yeah,
we've been talking about them forever.
Yeah. But yeah, yeah. So I'm very curious, and I not that, like I don't hope that the next one's the end because like oh fine, let's get this over with. I just like it feels like this is the second to last entry.
Yeah.
For what we are about to get a conclusion to the narrative that has happened
Feels
over these like 4 entries. So yeah. That's my last actual thought kind of thing to tie us off on. All right, so I suppose we'll move on to final thoughts. Yeah, I'm still going to recommend this one. It's another cliffhanger, and there's no reveal of who did it exactly that's given to us, like the name of the person who caused the mother monster to like be what she is and such. But there is like we get another basically like next time we're going to find out.
You know what I like though?
Mm-hmm.
I like that I don't need to know the guy or girl's name that did this.
Yeah.
Because like, yes, I want to know, but he straight up says in the story that, I don't know if he says it straight up actually, but it's implied one way or another, that he can't say the name of it because they being the person in question is intending to come out on their own.
Yeah, they gave a reason. They gave us a reason in the story as to why he's not revealing it in this entry, because he's there. Apparently, that person is actually going to come clean, like he threw out at them the last entry.
Yep.
But unfortunately, that isn't enough for Mother Monster, and that's why she's pushed Jay to go and kill that person. But Jay is still not going to reveal that name in this entry. So one way or the other, I think we're going to find out who that was next session, next entry, whether or not we find like get a newspaper article kind of transcript of like the person being shot and killed along with their gunman kind of thing, or what have you. So like, even though we didn't get all that, I'm right there with you on that, Gamer. Like it didn't bug me that we didn't get those cliffhanger, like we got another like, oh, next time we'll find out. we've been trying to get
well.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Cliffhanger done well.
Yeah, and this one did give us new stuff because it gave us more of the mother monster's motive, the momster's motives.
Yep.
And her connection and like to what's been going on. Like we got a little bit of a drip feed of like why she's doing this, because there's somebody in power that did this to her and made her this way. But it's done in a way that's really good. The descriptions are really cool and gory and graphic, but in like a good way, not like an over the top way that's just gross.
So one thing I was gonna say, but I forgot to say, and I don't have it in my final thoughts, and I'll forget.
Okay.
I've already forgotten. No, wait. I think I got it. In regards to him being like she didn't, what was the actual wording of how like she's doesn't deserve this or whatever. When I first was reading that, I was like, how do you know that? Oh my god, do you know this character? But it's because this is written after he's already experienced all the shit up until the end. So by the end of it, he's intimately acquainted with this creature. Not that way.
I wasn't going that way.
I heard you.
I wasn't. No, that wasn't me like scoffing or like like that wasn't me. That wasn't that.
Okay.
I was actually going the high road.
Okay, then I went the low road. Great.
Yeah, you went into the gutter, sir. It's
okay.
because you
This
learned
isn't
it from
going on the
watching me.
internet or anything.
Well,
It's fine. Either way,
but no, I like, because you're right. Like, yeah, this could be that, like, he knows that, like, she's not a monster stuff because of, like, oh, he's connected in some way with her because, like, the monster, like the possible child theory, or because he has all the information and stuff like that. Like, he knows who did this and why, like, what happened. He knows the who, what, where, and why, and possibly when. So that's like, Jay knows all the answers, and that's why he's come around to realizing, like, she's not actually, didn't mean to be a monster. It's just how she is because of what happened to her, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. That's what we get in the story, is like, we don't get the details, but we get, like, we get the implications of it and such, and that's what I think is what makes this part of the story worth it. And again, it gives us this really cool, like, possible connection of, like, is Jay the child of the monster? Is Jay actually being followed by them? Is it all in Jay's head? It gave us a lot to consider. And something to look forward to, like, getting clarified in the presumed conclusion next time in Morefolk. So yeah, that's why I'm still going. I want to recommend this part, and honestly recommend the whole story, because like recommend all the other entries, because you need those other entries to kind of get here. So it would be kind of weird if you read this alone as a standalone, but
yes, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my recommendation. Mikey, the E stands for evil.
All right, so as stated before, I like that we get the monster, whereas in the second entry we didn't get any new info about the monster. So that's why I didn't recommend the second one. But this one at least has the monster.
I think we both were kind of the same way. Was the second one the one where I said, like, this one doesn't need to exist, unfortunately?
I think it
Yeah.
was like because the broadcast situation we get.
Because nothing really happened, and I felt really bad saying
that.
Yeah, I think it was the second one that we got that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like, I'm scrolling down because, like, also cool thing about the creepypasta.wiki, and the way Icydice has formatted these stories, you actually can go to the once you've read through a story, there will be a previous and next button to go to the next story. Yeah,
which is very nice.
Mm-hmm. So I'm actually, like, that's what I've been doing. I've been scrolling down to, like, the something horrible is happening in Morefolk. I think something horrible is happening in Morefolk is the second one. Yes. As I quickly skip. Yeah. So the second one was something horrible is happening in Morefolk, and that was just sort of a retread on what happened in the first one.
Okay. It was either that one or the broadcast. I don't remember. But either way, please continue.
So I like that there's the monster. But I don't like that the mundane option has come to the forefront, that it could just all be in his head and he's just a raving lunatic.
Yeah.
So
that is a form of horror, though, like not being able to trust your own mind.
Yeah.
Like, Hell is Other People is a whole genre of horror.
Yeah.
It is, but for this one, I'm still only going to give it a partial recommendation. I'd like to know where it goes in the next one, but the way it's going now, it seems like it's just going to mundane guy sending messages to email with emails and such, and not giving proof, but it is proof, and yeah.
Okay. I respect your decision, or your opinion there. I do not share it. I think we're gonna get something supernatural out of this.
I hope so.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, I expect, like, we'll get a mundane thing where, like, Jay kills a guy with a gun, but then I think the reasoning and so that will be something supernatural.
He also might not do it.
Yeah, he might also
he's
not be able
with a gun doesn't mean he's going to be using it.
Yeah, or he might just get gunned down before he gets a chance to.
That too.
Yeah.
Because, like,
and then Mother Monster shows up to avenge her child yet again.
Yeah.
and just murders the entire police station.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Jay tries to go in there like Terminator, does not work. Then she goes in there like Terminator, and it absolutely works.
Yeah, she just comes out like she got sunglasses on. It's like, I told you I'd be back. I told you I'd be back, Mackie.
Yo, look at everyone. Mom's home.
God damn it! I was drinking some coffee, you asshole.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yep.
But speaking of that asshole, it's my turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like the turnaround of this, both the combination of Jay's humility and also the explanation of his growing insanity or legit encounter with a creature. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
One way or another, Jay has lost it and is about to take this too far and to a place that he can't come back from. It's gonna happen.
It's literally written in the story too. Like he's like he says that at the very end. I think close or something close to it.
Word?
I think he says something close to it. Basically, he's like she wants more than just than this guy's redemption or like his attempt at redemption. It's like him being redeemed won't redeem her, so she needs blood. Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah,
but yeah. The change is interesting to see, and to hear the creature on a more human level. To see and hear the creature on a more human level was interesting, as I said before. And again, for this one, it makes sense because it's a normal person. It's not a weird creature, some huge monstrosity that's just like, oh, hi, my name is Steve. No.
I'm Steve, the destroyer of worlds.
Sure you are, Steve. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, it immediately makes it silly, but in this one, it kind of made it better compared to her not talking at all and not able to communicate things. Because then how would we learn about what happened, you know?
Yeah.
And this one gives us a really good angle to do that because she's a person. I am curious how this will all end. If, like, it's set up that we'll get the auto response even if he dies, but I wonder if that's because it's already set up that he will die, like in the story, or if it's a fake it.
Yeah. Well, he says he's like, if he survives, he'll be posting it. Like if he survives and gets away from the cops, he'll post this. And if he does, even if he doesn't like manage to escape or survive, he's going to post it regardless. So,
but isn't that recording situation like a Chekhov's gun situation?
Like
maybe
the
recording's there, so it's going to be used.
No, that it's clear. Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's very good. It's a good possibility that is going to be what the next entry is going to be because, or it'll have a portion of the next entry will be the transcript of that video because it's got to lay out what happened, like who done it and why and how it happened and stuff like that.
Because, like, for example, if the bad person in question is the chief of police, and he's wanting to go in there and gun him down, it's not going to go well.
Or it's going to go. He's going to be able to do it, like get to the chief of police and gun him down. But then he's not making it out of that. Like it's not going to be a John Woo flick or like, it's not going to be a John Woo film or anything like that where he like guns his way out of the station after gunning down the police chief. Like
I don't know, man. Like this isn't Derpland.
No,
I think you'll find you'll find it be kind of hard to just go in there and just shoot the chief of police.
Yeah, I see.
There'll be a few cops in the way.
Or maybe he'll wait till like the chief is like leaving the building and then like pop out somewhere and gun him down.
I don't know if Jay's that smart given his insanity and his need to do this right now.
Yeah, that's why I said like we'll see what happens. Like there's a couple of like things. I think the most accurate is probably like we are going to see Jay die. Whether or not he actually gets justice for the mother monster from. Presumably, we're also speculating it's the sheriff. But also it's the sheriff of a small town. I don't think the police station might not be that like populated.
It'd be
but
like the
again,
one in Rambo.
Yeah, basically, yeah. In First Blood, yeah.
Sorry, yes, First Blood.
Yeah. Because unfortunately you can't just say Rambo because Rambo is one of the movies, the later movies. But I understood what you said. Yeah, I went to that. Anyway, yeah, like
Long story short, I still recommend this. I'm gonna say,
thank you.
And I'm interested to see how it will go.
Okay,
this was a good entry.
Mm-hmm.
It piqued my interest.
Yeah, it wants me to keep reading. It wanted me to keep reading.
Yes.
Which actually, I think that was a round table like success for the story because like we all want to find out what happens next.
Yes.
So, good job, Icydice. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this week's episode. So yeah, two recommendations and one partial recommendation. And we look forward to what happens next. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it. Yeah. And if you'd like, also you can send us messages on Twitter or X. Mikey is at the E stands for evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow without the W because his name is very long.
Yeah.
And I'm at Review Cultist. Me, the Review Cultist, is also on Blue Sky, another social media platform, so you can talk to me there or check things out there. If you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon, select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have $2 and $5 tiers with special episodes, early access, extra content. To our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay. And as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And without your authorship, without these stories that you create and post online for people to enjoy and read over and discuss, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the stands for evil.
And I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well. Also, I just heard a weird like knocking sound. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep unmuted just in the event you hear screams.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll happen. It's very dangerous here.
Yeah. He gets up to the door and just screams because he can.
Yep.
Huh.
Dead silence is almost scarier. But yeah, stuff. Doesn't return in 10 minutes. I'll go to his house with a bat.
All right, I'm back.
Hello.
There was nothing but like, I think it might have been Lucy, because like there's nothing at the door. Like it's almost sounded like something hit a door. Like not even like a knock, but just like something like fell near a door, like something hard fell on the ground.
Could have been a bird knocking into a window or something.
It also didn't help when I opened the other door to the basement. Something creaked as soon as I opened the door, but I think that was just like air pressure. So I immediately was like, grab the bat, grab the house. Spec Ops the house.
Fair share of horror movies and stuff, so you don't want to become an opening kill.
Well, you know what's funny? Like I've realized, like especially this year, and maybe it's like prior to this even, when I was younger, like I would like be like frozen and like I wouldn't want to go into things and stuff like that. Now my reaction to when I hear like a creepy noise or like there's something like a weird thing going on, it's like my reaction is to confront it usually with an implement of destruction.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, crack neck. Ah, shit, here we go again.
So you basically gotten to the point where you want the creepy shit to happen.
Yeah, like as I've gotten older, it's I don't know, it's like when I encounter something like, again, the break and entering thing, like I would have been like, I'm out of the house, I'm running to like the neighbors or something, call the cops. Now it's just like, all right, grab my bat, do a full search of this house, and kill this person that comes to my house. Or beat them within an inch of their life before the cops arrive.
Yeah.
Like that's been my like my new like I guess attitude toward like that kind of scenario. It's just like fuck, I'm all alone. I don't really have any other options. I guess I have to go check like search the house. I'll just grab this bat and I guess I'm gonna have to beat a motherfucker. Like that's my reaction now. Apparently, it's odd.
Become hardened and grizzled over time.
Apparent. Yes, in my ripe old age of 30s.
Yep. I mean, to some kids, we would be grandpas.
Oh no, we are ancient. Yeah,
We are
probably to like
old.
the new generation of like creepypasta writers. We're probably like the grizzled elders.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I'll make this the post credit
Sure.
bit.